Good morning. Saturday morning, Fort McMurray, Alberta. What a joy to be alive and sit up and take nourishment and a few other things I vaguely remember that I haven't for a long time, but nonetheless, it's called living. And in the process of living, we are attentive to those things that are going on around us, and I have really tired of this stuff in the Ukraine. Not as much, I bet, as the Ukrainian people who are still suffering, bleeding, dying. And I have you ever been to a bank and applied for a loan? And it was kind of a stretch. It was kind of pushing the envelope a little. And the banker said, "Hey, we're going to help. Hey, we'll sort this through together." And you walk away and you say, "You gotta be kidding! How?" And when you look at the substantive resolutions to your problem that the banker puts forward, you realize his help is in word only. Well, we are somewhat, shall we say, saddled with the very similar thing that is happening in the Ukraine. And we hear the banker, in this instance, it's the banker that creates money. That's called Biden, the Democratic Party in the States, who firmly believe that the way to get out of spiraling upward inflation is to create more money, diminishing the value of the money that is in supply at the time. And they put forth the idea we can buy our way out of inflation. We can buy our way out of our ever-present trauma associated with mismanaging money. It's kind of like advertisements you sometimes see on the television about banking, and they say if you're in real financial duress, you just come and you buy a new vehicle because hey, your present vehicle is worth so much. You buy another one, we'll even throw you a few grand. Of course, that few grand, whether it's 3 or 5, whatever thousand, will cost you 20,000 spread over the next 10 years. And when I was young, incidentally, that was some time ago, they used to say that a rancher could take 7 cows into town and sell them at the local auction and head over to the 2 dealerships that were in the little town of Didsbury, Alberta. And so I was a bit more than a kid, but because I moved to Alberta when I was 28. From a little place called Wasaga Beach in Ontario on Georgian Bay at the mouth of the Nottawasaga River, and grew up in a tourist community, and only 2 families that I knew that had horses were our family, and Long Acres Dude Ranch, run by a wonderful lady, I think Eileen Campbell. Nice lady. No, Eileen Pierce was her name. And She drove an old 56 convertible Buick, and it was just mint. And but in growing up, I realized that I wanted to get my kids away from the tourist industry and get them out here to Alberta, where they had a chance of seeing what men were supposed to act like and that sort of thing. So let's come full circle. Banker says, we're going to help you. Biden tells the Ukraine, hey, we're going to help you. And the way we're going to do that is with the new Green Deal. Not with fossil fuels that come primarily from Soviet Russia, but wind. Well, let me tell you, you get a bunch of politicians together and they're running their mouths about substantive stuff that they don't have a singular clue. Wind power would work because they produce an awful lot of unnecessary air movement by their mouths even. So Biden has finally said that they were going to curtail the sale of Russian oil to the U.S. And he anticipated, Biden, not really Biden as much as those who guard what he says and tries to defend what he says, and because he gets off script, and he doesn't really know what he's saying, and does not seem to care that the lives that are being taken in the Ukraine by certain Soviet Russia armed forces, generals, Putin, not Soviet Russia, but they are subject to restricted news, restricted understanding of what freedom is. They say the average Russian citizen makes $500, I think, a month. And so Biden has pretended all along, yeah, we're in your corner. We're going to help you. And he's not in the corner. Not in the corner of the Ukrainian people. Not in the corner of the Ukrainian mothers who are holding the babies who have since passed from bullet wounds or starvation, dehydration, physical maladies that normally would be easy to fix, but given that they're in a state of war, with Soviet Russia, they have to look hard to find something to place their hope in, because the countries like the United States of America, which should never, never, never have boots on the ground in the Ukraine, because there are so many other things they could do that would allow the fight, if that's imaginable, between the Ukraine and Soviet Russia, to be a little closer to being fair. And what does fair have to do in world politics? Not that much, children. I've said for some time, and it is interesting that a person only remembers those things they have said that actually have come true. It's very rare when people tout their great predictions that didn't work out at all. Boris Johnson. He see the hair? Okay. He's the English Prime Minister, and he has bad hair days like I do. His are self-inflicted. I suppose mine could be said to be the same. He will head toward a meeting and walk in the door, and he will ruffle his hair all up so that it just looks atrocious, like mine. And he does that so that he kind of can indicate he really doesn't care what he looks like. But he doesn't look as bad usually as he does when he's on television. But what he says is remarkable. To me, it is remarkable. Um, Soviet Russia makes 300 billion with a B dollars a year from the sale of their oil to NATO countries, other countries around the world. China has stepped up big time for Russia because China favors Russia over anyone else in the world. India has guaranteed Putin that they will buy everything that they possibly buy to help him in his peaceful takeover of the Ukrainian people, setting them free, as it were. Okay? Well, that's just as delusional as the United States of America. We'll help, like the banker. Remember the banker? We'll help, we'll help. Oh, we'll find a way out. Oh, you just go home and relax now. And they won't do a thing because many countries around the world were hoping that the Ukrainian people would lose because it might be that Putin could possibly be satisfied with the killing, the plundering, the rape, the carnage, the takeover, the removal of people from lives of freedom to lives of bondage in the Ukraine. And we see horrible things that we cannot credence, we cannot fathom. It's beyond our capability to understand how another would remove the lives of women, children, rape girls, boys, women, their blood mingling on the sidewalks. We think of Bucha, and we think of Mariupol, and we can't fathom that. We can't contain that. How do you contain that? I don't know. We realize that the main source of income that Putin has that enables him to carry on with his killing, his war, setting the people free. No. Could be eliminated short term. China, India, even Iran, they're in Putin's corner, sending troops, not China, that we're aware of yet. Definitely the Middle East. Oh, not Israel. Oh, dear Lord, not Israel. Because Israel knows that when Putin solidifies his quest in the north, that China, and a queen of the South, meaning Africa, that they will eventually come against Israel, and Israel will be in trouble. So we go back to the illusion, the smoke, the mirrors of the United States of America. And we say they could easily produce enough oil, but in spite of what everyone knows, in spite of what we know, because it was only 2 years ago that the U.S. were energy independent, that they were an exporter of fossil fuels because of the freedom that Donald Trump had put in place for oil companies to drill and make a buck for their investors. And with the pretense that politicians have, which is exemplified in Justin Trudeau, I believe, the Liberal Party up here, the Democratic Party down in the States, Joe Biden. Oh, can you ever think of Joe Biden without thinking of his son's laptops, where he made millions on the back of his dad's name from China, from former Ukrainian officials and business people, even in the Ukraine, but especially in Russia. And you say, how can people in government, in big business, behave as they do? And it is best summed up in this. Justin Trudeau's namesake, his name was Pierre Elliott Trudeau. Upon going through a small village, I think it was Hope, but I'm not sure, in BC, he fingered the protesters. And I mean, the whole village was out to protest. Hard to believe in Canada. And he gave them the middle finger as the train went through town. He didn't even stop to say hello. One of the reporters asked him, "Are you not concerned that these people won't vote for you in the next election?" He said he didn't care. He said because the average Canadian, you can do anything to them, and 3 months later they'll re-elect you. I don't believe that's true anymore, because I believe that we're a little more enlightened than we were. Well, I hope that's true. Anyways, God bless. Saturday morning. Just rambled through a few things. Boris Johnson, messy hair and all. He is actually helping Biden. He's that banker, right? Oh, we'll help you. But doesn't. Because help has to be in a timely manner. 2 days before your mortgage payment is due is when you need the dollar in your hand. Maybe 3 or 4 days. It's kind of nice if you can have a month's worth of your bills in your wallet or in your bank account taken care of a month before they're due. Don't believe Biden, Democrats, Trudeau up here, liberals, NDP. Don't believe the stuff they say. They're going to help only if they have to. And it won't be timely. It'll be delayed. Okay. Just saying. God bless.